This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And a very busy show today here on a Wednesday. NBA, large slate tonight. Cavaliers and Knicks from the Garden. We'll talk about that. We'll also look back at the two games from last night in the Western Conference. We have NHL. We have college football. We are loaded today, Lee. So let's begin with our first hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
And when you think about rivalries, Lee, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, Middle Tennessee State, and Delaware. I mean, it's just like you throw the record books out when these teams get together. Conference USA battle tonight up in the great first state of Delaware. So, Lee, what do you like here? Do you like the total between the Blue Hens and the Blue Raiders? A lot of blue tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you got me there. So if you're looking for tickets, if you see the tickets, a lot of times these big rivalry games are like 200-300 just in the door. You might be able to just slash the zero off at the end. You might be able to get in for $15 or $20 to this game here. So Wednesday night, hidden gem. So I looked at both teams. Both defenses aren't great, but you got to have a good offense to make a defense pay. So let's first look at Delaware. Quarterback, Nick Minucci. 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions in 6 games. Watched him kind of middle of the road. If he was at a little bit bigger school, he's a backup at best. Never going to do anything. Can't really run. Just not a real good passer. He's a nothing. Running backs. Joe Silver. Well, Joe Silver's not hitting pay dirt too often. Only 3 touchdowns and 375 rushing yards in 6 games. Top 2 wide receivers have 28 and 24 receptions, only 2 combined touchdowns, and even their field goal kicker. Well, why is special teams important? Well, you're trying to put points on the board. You want someone who's automatic. That's not Nate Reed. Nate Reed is 3 for 7 on field goal tries and 1 for 4 past 40 yards. So you better be in close, like extra point range, for Nate to hit a field goal. On the other side, Middle Tennessee State, they rarely score above 20 points. In fact, they've only done it once this season, and that was at home. This game's on the road. In that game, it wasn't like they went wild. Scored 28 points. Nick Vitello is a quarterback. Went to university school in Miami. Saw him play a couple times. 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's it for a team that's 1-5. The kid was smart. I give him and his father, met his father, credit. They identified, I think in 11th grade, Middle Tennessee offered him a scholarship, and he took it. Most of these other kids are looking for the pie in the sky. Oh, is Miami going to recruit me? Is Alabama? He identified a school he could play at, and I believe he's a 3-year starter now. So congrats to him. He's not playing at another level. He's a lower-level starter. Running back, Shaquille Middlebrook, 433 yards, just 2 touchdowns. Top 3 wide receivers combined, and they throw the ball a lot, just 6 combined touchdowns. Their kicker, middle of the road, 6 for 8. So this is a team that doesn't score either. I think these two teams will score some. Yeah, I mean, they're not good. A lot of times they'll move the ball between the 20s. They don't have guys that can break a tackle or 2 and get in the end zone. They're not good at converting any 3rd and long situations. A lot of punting going on. Hence, hidden gem, under 55 total points. Middle Tennessee State and Delaware tonight.
I'm wearing my blue, Lee, so I wanted to support both the teams with the Blue Hens and the Blue Raiders. And the good news is we have football every night. We had Conference USA last night. It continues tonight, and there's Sun Belt tomorrow. So it just rolls on. And you know what? As long as there's a side and total in the game, I don't care what the records are. It doesn't make a difference.
And you got your blue shirt on. So I think you're real close to both colors here. You got 2 shades of blue. So just keep it on all night. And
It's a toss-up game for me because I'm just wearing this for that.
Why,
Anyway,
yeah, why play the line? Play the total. I think it's much easier.
All right, so last night we saw the NBA come back and came back with a bang on NBC with the two games. Rockets Thunder, very entertaining. Houston was in control most of the game, and Oklahoma City came back and tied it, won in double overtime. So Kevin Durant loses his Rockets debut going back to Oklahoma City. I'm sure it kind of hurt him a bit that he couldn't win a championship in OKC, and the Thunder just won it last year. But the Rockets did cover as a dog. As far as our picks went, you had Golden State last night in the late game, and that was kind of like wire to wire that the Warriors in control of that game. No LeBron for the Lakers, and good start for Golden State there as they pick up the win on the road to open the season.
I think they're under the radar. For so many years, everyone talks about them. People are talking about other teams. So I think they got a couple nice additions. I think they have really good chemistry on that team. They're different. They play Draymond Green as a center a lot, so a little bit different look, but they get up and down the floor. They get you in transition. Jimmy Butler, really good last night. I mean, he was dominating play on both sides of the ball. He'll give you some efforts for big games, and when he's healthy, that's about it. And the Lakers trying to play with Gabe Vincent as their starter. I mean, 1 for 4 from the field, 3 points, no rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. I mean, it was like 28 minutes, the guy was practically invisible. You can't have that from a starter. So I don't like their chemistry. I don't like their talent here until LeBron get back. They're in real trouble here. We give them out to our clients under season total. So like that one a lot. And then talked about the Oklahoma City game. How often do we see a team get those rings? And it's a big distraction. They were lucky to win the game. I was down here. I remember Miami, I think 2 of the 3 or all 3 times they won rings, ended up losing that first game against the spread or lost the game badly outright. So we hit on Golden State and, watch the other game to look at some matchups, player rotations. That's key. You only want to play games you feel strongly about the first week, 10 days, because a lot of these coaches are trying to figure out their rotations, and a lot of these players haven't played a whole lot of minutes in preseason.
Luke had 43 in the loss, but again, Luke is now in the same situation like it was in Dallas. If he has nobody next to him, he's carrying the load with LeBron right now sideline. Now, as far as our other selections, we pushed on my hockey game, the Penguins. I tell you, this always happens. The first period, Vancouver scored like a minute in, and I said, oh, great. And then Pittsburgh tied it up later and then ended up blowing out Vancouver, but we had the first period, so it was a push on the Penguins. You had the Blues last night, and they lost in overtime to the Kings 2-1. Just St. Louis couldn't get their scoring going, and L.A. finally broke through after they had some struggles early on in the season.
Yeah, that happens a lot, but, eventually you're not going to get scored on in the first minute or two. Yeah, I always found that in a lot of sports, that first couple minutes are very important. Some teams are smart and they attack right away. And if you get a goal in hockey, it's certainly big. I used to play soccer, didn't play hockey growing up in Miami, but soccer is kind of the same thing. So I see a lot of 2-1, 3-2 scores. So just smart that press forward, but sometimes it's just a lucky shot that goes in. So it's happened to you the last couple nights, but you'll bounce back. Those pushes will end up being wins soon enough.
Yeah, so at least we didn't lose, but I'm 0-2 on my 2 hockey plays this week. I have an NBA play coming up. Just a little bit will not be a push, most likely. All right, so we start week 8 coming up tomorrow, the Vikings and the Chargers, and we'll talk more about that game on Thursday. But the NFL trade deadline is about less than 2 weeks away, early November. Now, a couple of teams that you're keeping an eye on as far as what they may do, especially in the AFC, Patriots, first place Patriots, got to say that going into this week. And they get the Browns, too. New England can really be in good shape. Also, the Colts been playing very well. So do you think those teams will be trying to make a move before the deadline?
Yeah, I believe New England's under the salary cap. I don't know if it's significantly, but enough to take on some salary. So they're 5-2. You got to also look at schedule. Their schedule down the rest of the season, I think it's the easiest in the NFL. I mean, it is cake. So very easy schedule. I think they might add a receiver, might add another piece on defense here. So they're 5-2. I think they're making the playoffs. So you want to bet on a team to make the playoffs or maybe win a game in the first round. Not going to go to the Super Bowl. They're not that next level talent yet, but a team I think that's going to continue winning is going to be New England. I think they're going to add someone. Indianapolis are 6-1. I think that they're going to add someone on defense. So don't be surprised if you see that happen. In the NFC, 2 teams, Chicago's one of these teams. They're not going to stand pat. We've seen their ownership and their GM, Ryan Poles. He likes to go for it, and they're 4-2. They have a really tough schedule coming up after the next 3 games. Next 3 games, they could win 2 out of 3 and be sitting at 6-3. So I think they want to gear up for the stretch run. So I think they might add a pass rusher, maybe a DB. They could use another cornerback. And then Dallas, rumors, they're sitting there. They got a shot to make it as a wild card. I think they're going to go out and try to get a pass rusher. Maybe Max Crosby. They'd have to pay a lot, 1 or 2 first rounders, but you put him in there. You got to say that Micah Parsons and Max Crosby might be the best 1-2 punch as far as 2 guys. So it might be just a trade-off. Get rid of one and add another. And Max Crosby certainly still has a lot of really good years, and he is a havoc on defense. You have to know where he is every single play. So those are a couple of the teams that I think might make moves. And if they make moves, you want to wager on them to make the playoffs. Let's say Chicago or Dallas, they could sneak in as a wild card. Bet them now before the lines end up increasing right after they make an acquisition.
Now, quickly, your thoughts on this Russell Wilson, Sean Payton war of words, it seems like. And for those that don't know, so Russell Wilson went to the Broncos, it was 22, I believe, when Nathaniel Hackett was the coach, and he ended up getting fired after that year. It was a complete disaster. Then Sean Payton came in as the coach, and I'm sure Sean Payton really wasn't a fan of Russell Wilson being his quarterback, and then eventually he was gone and Bo Nix got drafted, and now we're at where we're at. But the Giants played the Broncos this past week, and Sean Payton, I guess, made some comment. I don't know if it was an innocuous comment. Oh, we don't get to see Russell Wilson this week because Jackson Dart started. And I think that Russell took it as, you couldn't bounty hunt on me because of his days with the Saints and all the things they did with the bounty that you couldn't get back at me. And it was very, there's a lot of tension there with those two. And it had to do with a lot of money as well. But what did you think about these two? It's a little, it's just two personalities that are just clashing.
That's the best way to describe Russell Wilson. Weird dude.
Yeah,
always talking about himself, in the third person. Obviously his talents has really declined and was not a good fit. And Sean Payton, one of these guys that was proven. He ended up, getting huge fines and getting penalized for Bountygate. So not guys that I'm fond of. So hopefully we don't see them go up against each other. Didn't affect the line at all. Probably would have been fun to see him start the game for the Giants, but not the case. So not that big a deal to me.
Yeah, he's basically like, oh, we owe you a lot of money, and I don't really want you as my quarterback, so we're going to find a way to, get around this. And it just –
right.
Anyway, millionaires being millionaires. All right, coming up, we will take a look at the NBA. We have a couple plays in the NBA, also the NHL here on this Wednesday as we get back to the NFL on Thursday with Vikings-Chargers. So looking forward to all of that as we continue on the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. All right, time now to talk about FanDuel. That's right. An NFL season is here. We're 7 weeks in, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you bet on? A lot of stuff. NFL Week 8, Thursday in LA. Vikings and the Chargers hook up. Justin Jefferson, you want to bet on his receiving yards prop. Maybe Justin Herbert. He's got the most yards passing in the NFL. You can bet on his props, how many touchdown passes he'll throw. He'll go over 1.5. Also, his yardage prop, anybody on either side. And then if you don't want to bet on that game, guess what? You have Sunday's action that you can look at, and Monday as well. So very busy. Sunday night, you have Packers Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. You want to look at maybe his player prop as well. Also, you can look at the futures. MVP, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs. He is the favorite to win the MVP at FanDuel. Also, AFC champion, NFC champion, Super Bowl champion, Chiefs. They made their way back up. And you have them and the Eagles and the Packers, all these teams that you could bet on to win the Super Bowl. So many choices you have at FanDuel, the games, the awards, the player props, all of it. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue here, Locked On Bets, on a Wednesday at whatever time you're watching today, but just on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports with you, and now it's time to go to the National Basketball Association for tonight's blowout special.
Oh boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Really want to isolate on a big game here in the NBA, one that fans will be keeping their eyes on all night long. So I decided to go with the Nets and the Hornets in Charlotte. And, oh boy, these two teams probably not going to the playoffs, but I do like Charlotte -4.5 tonight against Brooklyn. Now, last year, the Hornets finished 19-63. The Nets were 26-56. But you look at the Brooklyn roster, it's terrible. Michael Porter Jr. went from the Nuggets to the Nets. Really, that's the only somewhat increase in talent they've had. It's not a good team. It really isn't. Not like the Hornets are great, but I think Charlotte's got a little bit better talent. Brooklyn beat Charlotte 3 or 4 times last year. Everyone would want to look at this, take the points of Brooklyn. They were better last year. They beat Charlotte 3 or 4 times, but I'm just not a fan of the Nets. And the Hornets, I got to think eventually will get a little bit better as long as LaMelo Ball is healthy at guard. I'm going to lay the points with Charlotte tonight here in the opener. I think they take care of business against Brooklyn. So we're going to go with that as our blowout special here on opening night.
Yeah, I think it's key. Ball's health. When he's healthy, they're a much better team. You watch them. The ball just doesn't move around enough. They don't share the ball enough. Everything's down. It's a lot of one-on-one basketball. So underrated player, very good player, can do it all. So, yeah, as long as he's healthy, might be a team that will surprise first 10, 15 games.
Yeah, and also we will get the debut of Con Knuppel. I think that's his name, right, from Duke. He makes his debut tonight for the Hornets. So we'll see how that one goes at home against the Brooklyn Nets. So now let's transition to the NHL. Only a couple games on this Wednesday night, but Atlantic Division battle. The Red Wings and the Sabres, they meet up in Buffalo. Time now for our Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
So the Detroit Red Wings are the hottest team in hockey. They won 5 in a row, and they got blown up by Montreal in the opener. And said, wow, that's not good, but it is a long season. And they're off a 3-0 homestand, beat the Panthers and the Oilers, both teams in the Stanley Cup final last year, so pretty impressive. Now they make the trip to Buffalo to face the Lion King, Alex Lyon, former Red Wing, now in the Buffalo Nets. And the Sabres, bit of a slow start, but they did beat the Panthers on Saturday, lost to Montreal a few nights ago. So, Lee, what do you like here with the total with the Red Wings and the Sabres in Buffalo?
Okay, so over the years on Locked On Bets, I would say whenever I was involved in a Buffalo game, probably 90% of the time, we were going against the Sabres. Whenever I was taking a total of a game involved with the Sabres, it was 90% of the time over. So, and did very well on our selections there. They're one of the teams I think I have a really good handle on. So I gave out a future on the Detroit Red Wings to make the playoffs on the podcast on NHL opening night. The hottest team, as you mentioned, right now in the NHL. They won 5 in a row after losing that season opener, but they're about to start their first long road stretch. 5 of the next 6 games are on the road. Here's the thing. They're finally winning games with defense. That's right, defense. 5 of their 6 games have been under the posted total of 6.5. They give up the 9th fewest high danger chances per game in the NHL. High danger chances will show you generally what's going to happen with the team and what they've done as far as the opportunities to score. Like I said, very, very important if you're handicapping NHL. They've alternated goalies between Cam Talbot and John Gibson. I would expect that Talbot's going to start tonight, and he's allowed only 6 goals in the 4 games. So if he goes, and I think he is, it really bodes well for the under. Buffalo isn't playing like a team that can change what Detroit does here defensively. They had a bit of an offensive outburst against Ottawa last week, but the team has not scored more than 3 goals in a game this season other than that. And they have a laundry list of injuries here up front. In fact, both teams have significant injuries right now. Buffalo just lost Josh Norris for 2 months. And more importantly, Detroit lost Patrick Kane. Yes, Patrick Kane, who leads the team in power play minutes until the weekend at least. They're usually too high scoring, these two teams are, but they usually can't stop the puck here. But I think you're going to see tonight a 2-1 or at most a 3-2 game. So we're going to go under 6.5 goals here, minus 135 in the Detroit Red Wings and Buffalo Sabres game. It's going to be my hidden gem.
Yeah, Patrick Kane, upper body injury, out for the next 2 games for the Red Wings, and it was a great signing picking him up after he left the Blackhawks, so it's helped out Detroit, but now they won't have his services in his homecoming. He's from Buffalo originally, so I'm sure he was heartbroken about not playing back in his hometown. Coming up, we will stay in the great state of New York, and we'll look at the Knicks and the Cavaliers as our lock of the night. That is coming up next right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And I did joke earlier that the Hornets-Nets would be the showcase game of the NBA. Spoiler alert, it won't be. Instead, it's the Cavaliers and the Knicks as they hook up at Madison Square Garden. And Cleveland fell short of the finals last year. And obviously the Knicks did as well. So now they get to hook up to begin the season in front of all the stars on the front row. So let's go to our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Very good matchup tonight in New York. It's the first game on ESPN, their doubleheader, and the Cavaliers and the Knicks, Cleveland, a short road favorite here, Lee. So what do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, this very well. In fact, if you were betting, these are the top 2 favorites to be the Eastern Conference finalists. Back for our clients, we actually gave out Cleveland plus 115 to end up as the number 1 seed. And I think they're going to do it because I like what they did. They did lose Ty Jerome in the offseason and score, but they added Lonzo Ball and Larry Nance Jr. So I think that gives them as much or more scoring and better defense in their acquisitions in the offseason. So other than that, the cast is intact here. This is a really good team. Love their coach. And on the other side, the Knicks. Star power. I mean, look at their starting lineup, and it's great, but they have 2 weaknesses in the starting lineup defensively. Karl Anthony Towns can't guard anything. I mean, he is one of the worst defenders we've seen at center in the NBA in a long, long time. Jalen Brunson, really good offensively, not much of a defender. So you can get by with 1 bad defensive player on the court, but not 2. And then they bring in Jordan Clarkson off the bench. They acquired him. He can score, 0 defense. So there's going to be times where Clarkson, Towns, and also Brunson are on the court together. You got 3 out of 5 guys can't play a stick of defense. You're in trouble. Add in Mike Brown, the head coach, new head coach. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to adjust to his talent and all the rotations. So, yeah, I think that the Knicks are going to be good. Probably the second or at the worst, 3rd best team. But just think that we're going to go with the Cavs here, minus the 1.5. I think they take the bacon here. It's going to be my level 2 lock.
All right. Looking forward to that. A lot of big games in the NBA to start the season. Already had 2 in the books from last night, and big slate tonight coming up in the association. So, Lee, NFL, you've been on fire at Paramount Sports. 23-2 the last 5 Sundays, and college football continuing tonight. NFL back at it tomorrow. So what is going on at Paramount Sports?
Yeah, so we're going to continue on this roll, hopefully, on Sundays. Incredible. 23-2. I don't know many people ever that go on a run like this. We have what's called Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. You can get 4 weeks of games on Sunday. You're going to get 5 selections, my top 5 selections every single Sunday, and they're going to go up probably tonight or in the morning. So you want to purchase it now. You get it on early before a lot of times these lines change. Just $197. So 4 weeks of Lee's NFL Sunday Golden Ticket, just $197. 23-2 record documented, and UFC got a pay-per-view going this weekend, and looks like we'll have 5 to 7 selections there. So you want to hop on and hopefully have another great weekend. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as the podcast version on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcast. You can find Lee on X at Paramount Sports and myself at Rogers Picks. And we'll be back with you coming up on Thursday as we're back with the NFL, Vikings and Chargers. Also a lot more to get to then. Looking forward to the weekend. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.